Hey there YouTube, this is Rob Brindlow speaking. Today I'm going to follow up on from my Draw My Life of where I promised to explain about a condition that I have. And here we go. You wouldn't believe it, but judging from my look, I look perfectly normal 31-year-old bloke. However, I suffer from a condition that is called nerve deafness. Nerve deafness is something that I've had since birth, and it's something that I've been looking up on YouTube and I haven't really found a great deal of a personal point of view. This is more of a perspective from a scientific point. The reason I want to bring this up is because I think it needs a bit more awareness on this, and this is how I'm going to explain it. As you can see from the image that I've attached, this is a picture of the inside of the human ear, include everything from the ear itself to the actual eardrum, and then everything connecting from the eardrum to the brain. From my point of view, as I said earlier, I look perfectly fine, but my problem is the actual nerving endings inside from the eardrum actually to the brain. Mine has got a break somewhere along there potentially, which is, from what I've been told from various MRI scans and from doctors explaining it to me, a cut that is about 30 times thinner than a piece of paper. Now, bearing in mind, paper is already quite thin enough as it is. To find something like that is nigh on impossible unless I was to have my head locked open and checked thoroughly. But in order to do that, I would probably have to be some sort of specimen, which I'm not prepared to go to. Okay, the other thing that I have to point out is that for my condition, I kind of have a bit of a bonus. From what I was explained to from the doctor, the hearing that should have been in this side when I was born, instead of it just not being there at all, kind of transferred from this side to this side, making this one 200% and this one 0, or however the ratio worked at the time, because I only found out when I was in year 6 I should say. So I would have been about 10 years old. It's not that fun when you're 10 years old to find out you're deaf. But it did put me in a bit of a dark place as well. Yes, I just put my finger in my ear. I do that a lot. It did put me in a relatively dark place, and it was something that, you know, how do you deal with that as a 10-year-old boy? You know, you've gone through 10 years thinking, oh, this is normal, and then one day finding out, actually, no, you're not. You've got this wrong with you. You know, it is quite devastating, I will be honest. It's not something that I particularly was fond of for a few days. But then I thought, you know, I can do something about this. So I trained myself to actually be able to understand and hear people better, because before I actually was diagnosed, I was told by doctors when I was a baby and a toddler that I might be retarded because I wasn't picking anything up. This is all just because of this simple little bit of wiring that isn't connected properly or broken, or however you want to play it. One of the things I was able to then do, as I said, was I trained myself to listen out and pick up other sounds. So for instance, at one point I could hear the electrical current of the phone that was attached to my parents' wall if I was near enough. So people would phone and they'd dial the number, and then immediately, without any ringtone, I'd pick it up if I was nearby, and I'd have to be quite close, probably where I am from where I am now to where this camera is. It's probably about 1 metre, but it was very odd. But it did have its downsides. I couldn't go to most clubs because when I was older, because it was so loud in there, everything was twice as loud for me. So I have to go around, if I do go clubbing, which isn't something I do that much anymore, I have to wear an earplug in this ear. It's not flattering at all, and sometimes it's very uncomfortable, but nowadays you can get customised earplugs. Like, there's a particular DJ, I can't remember his name, but he has tinnitus, because I watched it on telly a few weeks back, and he has specialist earplugs made for him that are moulded to his ear only. You can go and do that if you've got the money, or you can go and get a pair of foam ones and just cut them down to the size that you like. Wouldn't recommend it, because you do end up with a little bit stuck in your ear, but, you know, if you're willing to put up with that, then you're pretty much willing to put up with anything. Over the course of my life, so I'm 31, so the past 21 years of knowing this, not fun, It has slowly decreased because I'm not allowed to wear headphones, but I do it in moderation. So I have ones that have got two separate volume controls, so that way I can moderate it. I can still hear the track I like, but I don't have to worry about it blowing my ear one day. I have come very, very close to being completely deaf, because at the time I was a bit impatient and I was putting cotton wool buds in my ears to clean them out, and I perforated my eardrum, and I think it dropped quite substantially, and I don't think it's ever healed that much to what it was originally, which, yeah, okay, it is a bit of an annoyance, but it's just something I have to live with. And naturally, as I get older, it will go down and down and down, until hopefully not the point where it's gone completely. There are ways around it, I have researched, where I can have cochlear implants in my good side if it ever were to go, or there is, when I saw it a few years back, an experimental procedure where this is only in the US at the moment, I think it's like a trial still. They would remove a section of your skull, and then effectively they would put in a small receiver, which would then be attached to the inside of your ear. So it's pretty much like a microphone speaking to a speaker, but they'll connect that speaker to the nerve endings in the brain behind that are connected to my ear. As you can imagine, I'm a bit uncertain about doing that, because naturally that involves having most of my head cut open. Not a big fan of that. What I will say though is, for your own purpose and your own sake, regularly go and get your ears checked. It's not cool having this. I find it very dark sometimes, and it's very depressing. Sometimes it will just fly by and I won't remember about it, but then other times I will, and I'll have to sit and think, how am I going to cope with this? I can't sometimes, when I'm at work, be in a room with more than a few people talking, because there is so much ambient background noise and the people talking that I actually have to completely shut down and try and listen to one person at a time. But if you're in a meeting, that isn't always possible. I've tried, I've had to explain it to one of my bosses, who was not very happy about it. I don't see how I could make it any different, but that's just how this person worked, and I was taken off a couple of projects because of it. Subsequently left that job and now got a better one, and explained it in my interview. Be as it may, as I said, please go and get your ears checked. It is one of your 5 major senses, you know, sight, touch, sound, taste and smell. To be fair, you can probably live quite a substantial life without being able to smell a huge amount, but however, your sight, your sound, touch are, you know, the really big ones. Taste, some people don't have it, because if you smoke a lot, I'm told your sense of taste dies down, and you know, smell, well, that's another fact. If you're born with those facts, then you know pretty much what I'm going through, but in a different aspect. I've also included a couple of links along the bottom of the actual page, so you can look it up and have a bit more of a debrief of what I'm talking about. If you're in the UK, places like Boots do hearing tests for a relatively good price. I've actually had a couple from them before. I've been in an MRI scanner up at East Surrey Hospital if you're near Sussex, so you know exactly where I am. Word of warning, if they say to you in the paper they send you that you can bring music along, they don't let you. I had to suffer 45 minutes of listening to Bryan Adams, The Cause and Savage Gardens. I think I actually wanted to top myself afterwards, which was worse than finding out I still wouldn't be able to hear when I was older. I am rambling on, so I'm going to finish up with, again, just saying please go and get your ears checked. You know, I'm not getting any younger. It will hopefully not go. I'm doing everything I can to keep it to stay. But that's not to say something won't happen. I can't do various jobs. I wanted to be a pilot when I was a kid. I can't do that because of the air pressure. Whenever I go on a plane, it's very painful on takeoff and landing because of this fact. But I do get free sweets when I go on there from my wife, so that's always a bonus. I can't go to clubs now because of that fact, but to be fair, if ever you live in Crawley and you've seen the clubs that are here, you'll probably understand why I don't want to go clubbing. Cinema, going outside, perfectly fine. Concerts, not too bad. I still have to plug up, but you're in a dark room, so I suppose it's okay. But aside from that, that's all I can tell you. I will make another video of this if it gets enough hits and requests, but please subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be trying to make more videos along this sort of line and make things aware. And also, if you have any other questions about me or what I have to do and how I've had to get around certain situations, please feel free to send me a message or write in the comments below and I will reply to you. Right, bye YouTube.